So piggybacking off of my last video, we all know Daryl Dixon is going to end up in France. So this is where I'm going to pose the question, are we going to see Rick Grimes' brother, Jeff Grimes? So if you didn't know, in the comic series, Rick actually has a brother. It's canon and everything. He's not in the main line of the comics, but there is a spin-off comic called The Alien, and it is about Rick's brother, Jeff, and his adventure in Spain. And we kind of get a glimpse into what the apocalypse is looking like in Europe within the comic book. And I'm going to spoil what happens in the comic book, so if you want to read it on your own, you've been warned. So The Alien, it wasn't written by Robert Kirkman, but it was endorsed by him, and it is canon to the comic series. Even Kirkman has said it himself. And the single issue follows Jeff Grimes, who is Rick's brother. He awakens in Barcelona, Spain. After going there on vacation, he's trying to get back to the States because he gets word that his brother was shot in the line of duty. And of course, at this time, the world's starting to go crazy, and Spain's not letting anyone leave. So then Jeff is stuck in Spain. He meets a person. They find a boat. They finally get on a boat to escape. But what do you know, poor Jeff gets bit on the leg, and I guess they didn't have the wherewithal at that time to try to chop his leg off and, might have the chance of surviving. They didn't. He died, and that was it. Oh, and also he did tell the lady he was with about his brother Rick, and that was about it. Pretty much, she did make it to the States, try to find his brother, give him a message, and that was pretty much it. So of course this gets my wheels turning with Daryl going to France. Will we see Jeff Grimes show up in the Daryl Dixon spinoff? Now, if you didn't know, like I didn't know before I looked this up before making this video, Spain and France are right next to one another. So it's not out of the possibility that Jeff and or Daryl can cross over into Spain or France and they could run into one another. I would not be shocked if the show did this, or I could see them not revealing Jeff Grimes, but maybe Daryl hears the name Grimes in a conversation and it ends up being Jeff that Daryl ends up finding out. Personally, I think they need to be careful if they were to introduce Jeff Grimes into the Walking Dead TV universe, just for the fact that Rick has never mentioned once having a brother, and I feel like he would have mentioned him at least in passing one time over the 9 seasons, or 8.25 seasons he was on. If they were going to introduce him, I just wish Rick would have mentioned him. Wouldn't be shocked if they did it. It would be, I guess shock factor to an extent, but also at the same time like, oh look, it's a legacy character's brother that you didn't know about, and look, he has the same last name as everyone's favorite character, Rick. But if it's just completely out of left field, feels super forced, I'm not going to be cool with it. What I personally want to happen is that they just leave Jeff Grimes out of the TV universe altogether. I think it just is better not to have him at all. Again, it would really bother me if Rick never ever once mentioned having a brother in the TV series to just all of a sudden just materialize him having a brother in Spain. I just hope they don't do that, but again, wouldn't be shocked if they did. So I just want to make this quick video kind of giving my thoughts on if we might see a Jeff Grimes character within the TV universe. The Alien is a fun little series as far as I could tell. I've never actually read it, but I've read enough about it. I remember hearing about it years ago, and a lot of people were kind of shocked at the time that, Rick did have a brother. But don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure in the comic book he does mention having a brother at least once or twice. But again, don't quote me on that. My comic book knowledge isn't as vast and deep as my TV knowledge when it comes to Walking Dead, so he may not have in the comic book, but I know for a fact in the TV show he has never mentioned having a brother. But regardless, it's a fun little Walking Dead story, and it's too bad that, Jeff Grimes wasn't able to make it back to the States and find his brother, because that would have been kind of a cool reveal, right? In the comic book, it'd been almost like when Morgan shows up in season 5 of The Walking Dead, where Rick's doing some really cool stuff or some really dark stuff, and all of a sudden it's like, Rick, is that you? But it could have been his brother. Something similar to that would have been interesting nonetheless. But with all that said, do you want to see Jeff Grimes pop up in the Daryl Dixon spinoff? Let me know down in the comment section below, and while you're down there, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, guys, everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching.